Hello everybody, welcome back to Book of Kings, where we discuss topics such as history, religion, philosophy, psychology, culture, and more, and the way that they all interact with one another. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to receive a notification every time I release a new video. Hope you enjoy. Hello everybody, we are back for another video. So in the last video I did, we discussed the original assassins, the Nizar Ismailis state. And in discussing the Nizar Ismailis state, we discussed how the Nizar Ismailis were a branch of Shia Islam. So I'm sure in discussing this particular branch of Shia Islam, many of you may have been wondering, what are the other branches of Shia Islam? How many branches are there in Shia Islam? Well, that is the topic of today's video. We will discuss the various branches of Shia Islam. So in discussing the various branches of Shia Islam, we need to start at the beginning, at the origin of Shia Islam, namely the split within Islam between Sunni Islam and Shia Islam. So the split between Sunni and Shia Islam originated from a succession crisis following the death of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. So, following his death, there loomed the large question, who would succeed Muhammad as the leader of the Islamic community? Now, there were a group of Muslims who believed that the successor to Muhammad should be his son-in-law, Ali. And they were referred to as the followers of Ali or the Shiite Ali, hence the name Shia Islam, with Ali being recognized as the first Imam or community leader within Shia Islam. So inevitably, Ali would be bypassed as successor to Muhammad or Caliph in favor of another individual named Abu Bakr. Following Abu Bakr's death, Ali would be bypassed again as Caliph in favor of Omar and Uthman. Following Uthman's death, Ali would inevitably be selected as what is viewed as the fourth caliph within Sunni Islam. So upon becoming caliph, Ali would proceed to remove from power various governors who had been appointed by his predecessor Uthman due to their widespread corruption. One of these governors, named Muawiyah, would refuse to step down and would thus rebel against Ali, starting the first civil war in Islamic history. Ali would eventually be assassinated and would be succeeded as Imam by his son Hassan, who would be the second Imam of Shia Islam. Shortly after taking power, Hassan would concede and then cede power of the Islamic world to Muawiyah. Hassan would later pass away, and many believe that he in fact died by poisoning. Hassan would be succeeded by his brother Hussein, the third Shia Imam. Hussein would eventually rise up in rebellion against Muawiyah's son, Yazid, and would inevitably be defeated and brutally killed in the Battle of Karbala, which is commemorated and mourned by Shias to this day. Hussein would be succeeded by his son, Ali ibn Hussein, otherwise known as Zain al-Abidin, the fourth Shia Imam. Following Zain al-Abidin, a split within Shia Islam would occur due to disagreement over who would be the successor and new Imam. So, while the majority of Shias would accept Muhammad al-Baqir as the successor to Zain al-Abidin, another son of Zain al-Abidin, Zayd ibn Ali, would rise up in rebellion against the Umayyad Caliph Hisham ibn Abd al-Malik. Zayn grew to have many followers who believed that he was the rightful successor as Imam due to him rising up in rebellion against tyranny. His followers would then form the branch of Shia Islam known as Zaidi Islam, or Fiver Islam, due to the split occurring during the time of the fifth Imam. And it should be noted that Zaidi Muslims are the oldest branch of Shia Islam, and Zaidis are often described as the closest in doctrine among the Shias to Sunni Islam. Zaidi Muslims believe that the leader of the Muslim community, or Imam, must be a descendant of Ali and his wife, Muhammad's daughter Fatima, through either one of their sons, Hassan and Hussein, the second and third Imam, However, they do not believe that the imamate must pass from father to son. So therefore, the imam can be any descendant of Hassan or Hussein who is qualified, i.e. stands up against injustice and corruption. Also, in distinction to other Shias, Zaydis do not believe in the quote-unquote infallibility of the imam, a concept which we will discuss later. And today, Zaydis are primarily found in Yemen, and it should be noted that the group known as the Houthis, which I'm sure many of us hear about in the news, do belong to the Zaidi sect of Shia Islam. So now we will proceed to return back to the main line of succession within Shia Islam and end our discussion on Zaidi Islam. So, the majority of Shias would accept Muhammad al-Baqir as the next Imam, the fifth Imam, and he would then be followed by his son, Jafar al-Sadiq, who is easily one of the most significant Imams within Shia Islam. Jafar al-Sadiq would rise to be a respected and influential jurist, not just among Shias, but also among Sunni Muslims. He played a significant role in developing the concept of the infallibility of the Imams, whereby the Imams are believed to be free of sin, and also possess divine knowledge of God's will, and are therefore free from error in their interpretation of religious and spiritual matters, making their interpretation of Islamic doctrine authoritative. Succession following the death of Jafar al-Sadiq would lead to the next split within Shia Islam. So Jafar al-Sadiq would appoint his son Ismail ibn Jafar as his successor. However, Ismail ibn Jafar is believed to have died before his father, and this is the origin of this next split within the Shia community. So, while the majority of the Shia community believed that him dying before his father disqualified Ismail ibn Jafar from becoming the next Imam, and therefore believed that the imamate would pass to another son of Jafar, there was one branch which did not believe this to be the case. And these would become the branch of Shia Islam known as the Ismailis, or Seveners, due to the fact that the split occurred at the seventh. So, Ismail had a son, Muhammad ibn Ismail, and most Ismailis believed that the imamate would pass on to him. And additionally, they believed that he would be the Islamic figure known as the Mahdi, who would return before end times, and that he had gone into quote-unquote occultation prior to this being hidden from the world. And just to give a little bit of background information, the figure of the Mahdi in Islam is an eschatological figure who Muslims believe will appear during the end times and will be a precursor to the second coming of Jesus Christ. So at this point, the identity and location of the Imams would become obscure, with Muhammad ibn Ismail disappearing from plain view. And during this time, the Ismaili faith would be headed by a secret network of missionaries known as Da'is, who would propagate the hidden Mahdi's cause until he would return. One prominent missionary or Da'i was an individual known as Hamdan Karmat. So keep that name in mind because we will discuss him in a little bit. So this network of Da'is would be headed by a lead missionary known as a Hujjah, who was believed to be proof of the hidden Imam's existence. This would all change with the rise of a particular Hujjah named Said, who would rise to become head of the movement. Following rising to the position of head of the Ismaili movement, Said would no longer just declare himself to be a representative of the hidden Imam, but would in fact proclaim himself Imam and furthermore the long-awaited hidden Mahdi, giving himself the title Abdullah al-Mahdi Billah. He would eventually establish the Fatimid Caliphate, which was the first and only Shia caliphate in Islamic history. The caliphs of the Fatimid dynasty would later release a genealogy connecting themselves to Ismail ibn Jafar. However, this would be rejected by Sunnis and other members of the Shia community. His claims would also be rejected by members within the Ismaili Shia community, namely Hamdan Karmat, who would denounce his claims of him being the Imam and Mahdi, causing a split within the Ismaili community, with those who rejected his claims becoming known as Karmatians. And it should be noted that no Karmatians exist in this current day and age. So the Fatimid line of succession of Imams/Caliphs would continue for multiple generations until another split would occur following the death of the Imam Caliph al-Mustansir. So al-Mustansir's oldest son, Nizar, would be bypassed in the line of succession in favor of his younger brother al-Musta'li, who would be proclaimed the Caliph Imam. Nizar would proceed to rebel and claim the caliphate for himself. However, he would eventually be defeated and killed. Many Ismailis would consider Nizar to be the rightful Imam and would therefore form a split within Ismaili Islam, with those who followed Nizar being known as Nizaris, hence the Nizari Ismaili Muslims, which we discussed in our previous video. And it should be noted that today the Nizari Ismaili Muslims are the second largest denomination of Shia Islam and are the only Shia sect to have a current living Imam who they refer to as Aga Khan. So those who accepted Musta'li would be referred to as Musta'lis. Musta'li would then pass on the imamate and caliphate to his son al-Amir. And following the death of Caliph Imam al-Amir, a split would occur within the Musta'li branch of Ismaili Islam. This split would arise regarding a dispute regarding his successor between al-Amir's 2-year-old son, at-Tayyib Abul Qasim, and al-Amir's cousin, al-Hafez, whose supporters claimed that al-Amir had died without an heir. At-Tayyib's followers would come to be known as Tayyibis and would eventually spread their faith to India, leading to the development of the current Alevi Bohra, Dawoodi Bohra, and Soleimani Bohra communities. Al-Hafez would go on to succeed al-Amir as the next Caliph Imam of the Ismaili Caliphate, and his line of succession would continue with no further splits until the fall of the Fatimid Caliphate. His followers would come to be known as Hafizis, none of which currently exist today. So this ends our discussion on Ismaili Islam and its various branches, and leaves us with our discussion on the final major branch of Shia Islam, and that is Twelver Islam. So we talked about those who accepted Ismail as the successor to Jafar al-Sadiq. However, another branch of Shias would accept Jafar's son, Musa al-Kadhim, as the next Imam and would follow his line of succession. Musa al-Kadhim would then be followed by Ali al-Ridha, who would be followed by Muhammad al-Jawad, who would be followed by Ali al-Hadi, who would be followed by Hassan al-Askari, who would then be succeeded by Muhammad al-Mahdi, the 12th and final Imam, hence the name Twelver Islam. So Muhammad al-Mahdi is believed by Twelvers to have succeeded his father at the age of 4, and within the early years of his imamate, gone into quote-unquote occultation, whereby he was hidden from the world and will be hidden without dying a natural death until the end times, where he will return as the long-awaited Mahdi, who, as we previously discussed, will precede the second coming of Jesus Christ. So, Twelver Islam would then go on to become the dominant religion of modern-day Iran during the reign of the founder of the Safavid Empire, Shah Ismail, with Iran currently having the largest Twelver population and largest Shia population in general within the world. So, it should be noted that Twelver Shias generally believed throughout their history that in the absence of the hidden Imam, Muhammad al-Mahdi, they were to engage in political quietism. So in other words, they were to refrain from attempting to establish true Islamic governance, as they believed that true Islamic governance could not and would not be established until the return of the hidden Imam and long-awaited Mahdi. So this remained the norm within Twelver Shia history until the time of the Iranian Revolution. So Ruhollah Khomeini, commonly known as Ayatollah Khomeini, would break from this doctrine, putting forth his concept of rule of the jurist, whereby, in the absence of the hidden Imam, those most knowledgeable on Islam, the jurists, possessed the right to rule. This laid the foundation for the current Islamic Republic of Iran, whereby Iran became a theocracy ruled by Shia clerics, with Khomeini becoming the first supreme leader of these clerics. Following Khomeini's death, he would proceed to pass on the position of supreme leader to his successor, Ali Khamenei, who is the current supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So there you have it. Those are the various branches of Shia Islam. Hope you enjoyed. Talk to you next time. Thank you for watching. This has been another Book of Kings video. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to receive a notification every time I release a new video.